Okay. If you've never
All right. We are live right now, and countdown to disclosure, man. Tomorrow is when the big report drops, and everyone's been talking, including, you know, the alien in chief, Mr. Joe Biden himself, who might not be president much longer now. What's happened in Arizona?
ANBC News viewer think that it is.
I would ask him again. Thank you.
So he makes a joke about UFOs when he's asked. We had so theories of everything with Kurt. He came on my show Monday night, and I was just surprised at how much he didn't know about UAP physics, and even these cases and stories within ufology. So it was kind of that was a crazy interview. I unloaded a lot of my best information in 1 hour to what a physicist should know and
he
get.
needs a lot of help, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's quite far behind, man. So this was funny because I watched this the other day, right? And this is awesome because
Bob Lazar's yes man.
yeah, Corbell was on the other day, and you know, we gave Kurt some good questions to hit Corbell with, knowing that he'd probably hang himself on at least one or two of these. And oh boy, did he ever! So let's watch this. This is hilarious.
All right,
So,
good.
Is Salvador still alive? Do you think Salvador will speak to me? He or she was
I'm not going to put anything past you. I'm going to say that, you know, the will is the way, man. You know, do your best.
All right, I'm going to try my hand at Bob Lazar then.
this is great.
That's a heavy lift.
That's a heavy lift.
I will do some.
Oh god.
Okay, let's see. The moving force says, is Jeremy Corbell familiar with the U.S. Navy's TR-3B?
I am familiar with what people call the TR-3B. I was actually kicked out of a car one time because I was getting driven to the airport by a military guy, and I was asking questions, and it was like a joke. He kicked me out of the car. I was asking about that TR-3B. Look, it's nonsense.
What is it, first of all, for those who don't
Why
know
is
myself?
it's
So
nonsense? So he got kicked out of a car by a military guy,
allegedly
but it's nonsense.
A
It's because you need
triangular craft that, you know, with rounded edges, that works on positive lift in a way that is unconventional. So gravitational in nature, or you could say electrogravitic. I don't know. It depends on what people think they're saying when they say TR-3B. We have certainly tried to work with different propulsion systems. However, as you see, we are completely limited in the United States military in 99.9% reactionary propulsion system, from rockets to roller skates. Push something out the back, you go forward. That's it. So the TR-3B has that, you know, one of the 5 observables that Lou Elizondo talks about. So when you talk about the TR-3B, you're talking about something that has positive lift, but from a non-reactionary propulsion system. So let's just say, for sake of argument, some people think it's a gravitic craft, an anti-gravitic craft. It would actually be a gravitic craft, not an anti-gravitic craft. That's because people don't understand what that means, right? It's not. It's using gravitational craft use sometimes natural gravitational fields to operate on, but they also can produce gravitational fields because gravity is indeed a wave. Anyway, check it out.
Hit pause once.
Yeah.
That idiot right there that just said that, I'm going to tell you exactly why he doesn't. He's against the TR-3B, and it has to do with me and the 2 guys that are right here.
Yes.
George Knapp does not like me. George Knapp does not like Jeremy. We've debunked Bob Lazar over and over again, many times. He's a fucking fraud. I've actually got
Edgar Fouche is the guy who debunked Bob first, and that's why he won't mention it. He talks about Elizondo as being like the source for the TR-3, but no mention of Edgar Fouche in there. And then he proves he has no idea about the propulsion system, even, because he was so far off base with his like bullshitted comment there about how the propulsion system works. All right, so I left a comment here on the page, bro, because I was just like, all right, I gotta like. It's already got 17 likes and 8 replies, so people go there and smash this comment up. We'll make it one of the top comments so people can get the real physics lowdown. So I encourage people to go check out Henry William Wallace's patents and his inventions and work on the kinemassic force field. It's called kinemassic fields. It's the idea of an analog between mass, like just like electricity has electricity and magnetism are an analog of one another. That magnetism is created by moving static electric charges. There's a whole theory that moving static electric masses, or whatever, static gravitational masses, not electric, but it's an analogy between gravity and magnetism, and like the electric force and magnetism. There's gravitomagnetism, or it was also called the kinemassic force field, and this was thought up by physicists back in as far as back as the 60s. If you really get into it, there's I linked to the paper. I don't think I have it up here now, but I linked to the paper by Bryce DeWitt in the description on superconductors and gravitational drag, and that's a whole method that's similar to what NASA did in 2004 with Gravity Probe B by measuring the frame dragging of the Earth, as it travels through space. So this is real physics. Jeremy Corbell didn't mention any of this stuff, proving he's completely clueless, or at least he might even be working, intentionally to misinform. What do you think, Solar? Like, how could he be so ignorant, not even mention the TR3B? I think a lot of that answer was done on purpose. He does not.
Here's the deal. I talked to George Knapp probably a year ago. He was asking me about Ed, and he didn't have kind things to say about Ed. And I got the message over here somewhere in my messenger. And I know why he didn't have kind things to say to Ed, because Ed led the way to debunking Bob Lazar, because Ed was actually at Area 51 as proof of it, paperwork on it. 79, the entire summer of 79, Ed was there. I know he was there. He actually had a report a cycle that they go through every year where they're promoted or what have you. And Ed's promotion was delayed 90 days because he was T.D. Wyatt Groom. And it was the summer of 79. That wasn't the only time he was there. Ed Fouché hated being at Area 51. Michael Schratt, you know that. Remember when Ed said he hated being at Area 51? He said he hated it there. He said you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything. He said he absolutely hated being there. You've never heard anybody else. He also talked about the goggles, the foggles, Jeremy, which just came out this year, for God's sakes. He talked about them a long time ago in 98 at the IUFOC. All I know is it's Team Fouché against Team Lazar. Anything related, they're going to hate it right away. And I talked to Corbell a long time ago about the TR3B, and he seemed to be like, he don't know what he's fucking talking about. Excuse my language on there.
Listen to his answer that he put together. He tried to make it look like he was educated and well versed and knowledgeable about all electrogravity. He didn't even talk about the magnetic field disruptor or anything. I don't know which. He's talking about the fake version of the TR3B that came out 48 hours after Ed died. Yeah,
that's what he's talking about. And
I know.
For him to be this, he calls himself an expert in UFOs. No, you want to talk about an expert in UFOs? Look at the name below me. Michael Schratt is an expert in UFOs. There's no one on the planet that knows UFOs. David Marler and him are close, but I think Michael's better than Marler by far. Michael Schratt's an expert on UFOs. Michael Schratt spent many hours talking to Ed and me on camera, and Ed never said that craft was bullcrap. He swore to it up to the day he died. I was the last person that spoke with him. However, Bob Lazar's story can be torn apart a million different ways. That's all I'm going to say. It's Fouché versus Lazar. That's all that is. And
I think it's because of our debunking, and he knows
if he was
that TR3B stuff. We own that TR3B case. We thoroughly investigated all this stuff. I pointed out in my comment there on the page to a lot of good resources for this, because Ed came out in 1998. He's not even mentioned here, but he's the original source for that TR3B story.
That's right.
And he talked about a mercury-based plasma that was, super cooled and rotated at high speed in a centrifuge. And that was 3 years before Igor Witkowski published his research on the Wunderwaffe tech that he was digging into in Western Poland. that the Nazis had a whole bunch of system of underground tunnels in these mountain complex called the Project Riesse, or the Giant. It was also codenamed Die Glocke, or the Bell. And the Nazi Bell experiment,
Right.
when he came out with this, I'm pretty sure Igor Witkowski had no idea about Ed Fouché or his story when he found the links to Nazi research involving rotating charged mercury plasmas.
Yeah, it's got to be a mercury plasma, not solid mercury. People are like, "Oh, solid mercury would freeze." It's a mercury plasma.
Yeah, it's a mercury plasma. So I think there were some
Totally
descriptions, and some of Ed's technical info was off. I don't know.
Well, it should be. Ed was given the information. I know who gave Ed the
Yeah.
information.
You think it was Hal Puthoff?
No, Al Puthoff was involved.
Yeah.
That I've been in conversation. I was on a couple of conversations with Ed and Hal Puthoff a long time ago on Uvu, and I was like, Hal Puthoff, this is kind of crazy. I'm talking to this guy, but him and Ed were obviously friends. Ed was friends with that whole group, the Aviary, all those guys, Colonel John Alexander, all those guys. I know they all think Bob Lazar is a total fraud.
Oh, where did Michael go, dude?
Yo.
He just dropped out. So someone's complaining there's a mic that needs to be muted. That might have been Michael's. He was in the background probably trying to, I think he might be even trying to talk and can't, because I haven't even heard his voice on there yet. So he might be trying to get his mic working. So we apologize for that.
Hold on a minute, man. Let me call him, see if there was a problem. Yeah, it's because we're going off too much. You know, I take this personal, what that idiot just said there.
Yes, I do too, because he's spreading misinformation. There's no way he's misinformed. He's definitely informed on this stuff. He's specifically spreading information that's just not true to disinform, and this makes me feel like even more that he's a disinformation.
Does he stick his foot in his mouth about Bob Lazar or what?
Oh, this next part coming up. So basically, he changes his tune on Bob. He avoids all the questions of going into the details of the case and stuff. He only talks about Bob for like a minute that I heard, and I went through it. There might be more in this, but there was at the 6-minute mark, he does talk about Bob, but he basically just says that all the things that Bob said was coming are going to come true, and people are going to see in the future.
No, they're not.
That's basically what he leaves it at, and like
element 115's age.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of physics and a lot of information coming out, but it's not going to be Bob. I'm telling you that. I've already shown some of the history of what the physics are and the research that's been done and ways to beat gravity. I have a whole page on my website devoted to this research. I've been doing this for way longer than Mr. Corbell here.
It's all disinformation to take you down the wrong path. And look at the amount of time people have wasted on that element 115 garbage.
Oh, I can't think of all the time that I wasted. But that answer that he gave was just total. He just pulled that out of his rectum.
He didn't have anything else to talk about but Bob Lazar. There's just nothing else there.
Look at all this Bob Lazar picture. This is his research into Bob Lazar. So he's got Bob Lazar's ID on the wall, the picture of him on the bike.
I was told Bob Lazar can't stand him, and that comes from a really good friend of Bob Lazar's. You wouldn't believe how good of a friend it comes from.
Yeah, I heard that Bob's pretty
bitter.
bitter.
You and I both talked to that this guy here doesn't get along with. I don't have anything against Bob Lazar. I think Bob Lazar was hired to say what he said, and that was it. And he did his job, and it worked. That's my opinion about Bob Lazar. I think he was hired to. Otherwise, they would have came out and smashed him. They did.
Yeah, like Elizondo. What was up with Elizondo too? So he interviewed Elizondo, and Elizondo completely changed his tune on Bob Lazar. It went from another interview that he gave where he said that, "Oh no, we take." Yeah, where's that interview where he says we take security way more seriously than that? And that was just a few weeks ago.
He was asked about Lazar a couple of times. He's been interviewed so many times in the past 2 weeks. It's crazy. 2 interviews I saw him state that he goes, we take security far more seriously than that. When he was asked about Bob Lazar, that tells me that he's saying that they would never have let Bob Lazar run and tell George Knapp on the news that there's this alien spaceship he's working on. Well, 9 of them, if you will. But check this out. Here's the easiest way to put Bob Lazar and Michael Schratt's coming back. Here's the easiest way to put Bob Lazar's people in check, which is Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. All they do is say that they want. Oh, there he is.
There he was. I saw him for a second. His camera was working too. Hey, Tyler Hofer, thank you for the $20. That was awesome, man. Thank you for that. We don't like liars here. That's why we don't really hate Bob. We just want to.
No, I don't hate Bob.
We just love the truth, man.
I have talked to him already.
Like, it's not about hate. It's just about love here, and I don't want to make it about that because it was, there's a lot of misinformation going on in this field, and this is the happy disclosure. Eve, Amy, what's up? Thank you for joining.
Michael, you're gonna love this way I put them guys in check right now. You're gonna love this. Listen.
Oh, we need to get us on JRE, bro. That needs to happen. It's gonna happen. Just wait for it. It's gonna happen. It will happen.
No way. Stole my name. No, it's all good, man. I'm just kidding. Check this out. The easiest way to put these guys in check is this. Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp say, all we want is disclosure. Oh, my God, we want disclosure. Yet, they supposedly have the buried piece of element 115 that Bob Lazar stole from Los Alamos, which was known as LA 1000 at Los Alamos, right?
I can hear you, Jeremy, but I can't hear Dan.
You can't hear me?
Weird. He's working. I don't know why you can't hear Dan.
Can the crowd hear me? Can the crowd hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you, man. Your audio's working. It's coming through. They would have.
Here's how you put Jeremy Corbell in check. Okay, they say they want disclosure, but they know where this piece of element 115 is that Bob Lazar has hidden somewhere. They both know where it is. It used to be in John Lear's backyard years ago. I can tell you that under a slab of cement. But it's not anymore. Well, why don't you go dig the piece of element 115 up and show it to everybody? Because then that would be disclosure if he's telling the truth.
Would, man. We have a whole team. We would analyze it and get the truth out. You know what I mean?
You're not obviously going to go to jail because Bob didn't get arrested for stealing it. So go get it, have it analyzed, and let's see what it is. Because it's just a piece of copper or a piece of lead. That's it. It's nothing more like idiots, and you know it. I want element 115 too. We should start an I want an element 115 campaign. That's what we should do, and see how big we can get it going, and harass the shit out of these people till they go dig it up and have it analyzed. They know what the truth is. That's why.
Let's keep watching this. This is good because we really set Kurt up good, man. Someone pointed out Kurt's still really new to this, man. He's super green behind the ears. I gave him. He's just diving into. I gave him enough homework that will last him the next 2 months. On the last time that he was on with me, and hopefully he digs in the links and the stuff that I gave him, because it's like these disinfo agents come on and throw so much garbage at him just to distract him and keep him busy. And it's like I'm telling him, like, no, don't waste your time. Like, just focus on this stuff. I've already been down all these rabbit holes.
Jeremy, hang on a second here. A Biggie J21. What do you mean they showed Bob Lazar making element 115 on the last documentary? I think you're talking about when he had beryllium and they showed it going backwards into his hand. That wasn't element 115. It was little round balls.
And then the FBI raid, we had people talk to the sheriff in the FBI's office, and it was over some thallium that he was selling.
Talking about people that that movie memorized. And by the way, that's Michael Schratt down there at the bottom. If anybody's got any questions, the guy's a legend. He's probably the best ufologist I've ever. No, he is the best.
Michael is number one, dude. He's top. Yeah. He's one of the originals, and he's a national treasure, in my opinion.
The guy has 3 warehouses filled with UFO material.
Mark was the national treasure.
Oh, yeah, Mark McCandless, yeah.
Mark McCandless, yeah, man.
I was blown away when you said about how you told me that before, how he just sat down and started drawing houses and UFOs like they were nothing and they were all to scale and stuff. I heard you say that on Steve Cambion's show the other night. And, yes, Mike Schratt is the GOAT, the greatest of all times. You got that. He's on our team too, buddy.
We are.
Let's hear more what this clueless talking headpiece has to say.
I'm not seeing terrestrially made TR-3B craft that our government has produced. I'm sorry to burst the bubble. I was sad the day that I was definitely, I can stand behind that as being the case. I would love to be wrong.
What
Oh
about
my
the
gosh,
element
I would-
115 though? Like he sits there, he's like, oh, he's making this statement about the TR3B, like they're not going to roll it out
Oh,
like
well, hold on. What
tomorrow.
are the three green
What would you do
triangles?
if they rolled this TR3B out tomorrow out of a
What are-
freaking hang?
What does he think those three green triangles he filmed were if they were actually real and weren't airplanes? They would be TR3Bs now.
Yes, right. Those those. Oh wait, they were pyramids though, but they didn't have a square bottom.
That's why he called them pyramids. He didn't want to call them. He didn't want to call them TR3Bs, Jeremy.
It's so clever. It's so obvious to anyone who's
because the hatred they have for Ed, because Ed's the one that started the whole thing on Bob being a phony.
I know, man.
Never forget the first time I met Ed. It was in 2008. He's like, that Bob Lazar guy's a damn liar, and that big deep voice. And Ed was 6'6". He's just this massive guy. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you don't want to believe that bullshit. And then he started going over all these points, and I was a good friend of John Lear's at the time. I get on this forum and start asking John Lear all these questions about Bob Lazar, and John Lear and me start arguing. My friendship with John Lear lasted about a week after I met Ed. He got me, dude. And I knew Lear since 2002. So 7 years of friendship down the toilet.
Well, that's the deal, is that Bob got a lot of his information from the greatest Area 51 inside source of all time, who is John Lear. And I think that really, like, he had some truthful information, a lot of truthful information, because they spun and created the whole story around, a lot of truthful information at the time.
What's funny is I can actually show everybody on here that John Lear's the one that actually came up with the story, and Bob Lazar 2 years later copied it, because John Lear in 87 on the record with George Knapp said, we have 10 to 15 recovered flying saucers up at the test site, and we test fly one of them, and 3 of them are in perfect condition. Well, 2 years later, Bob Lazar comes to George or John Lear's house and tells him the story that he wants to hear. Did you ever hear that, Michael? I showed you that information, haven't I? Michael? He can't hear me for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear you. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me at all, Michael?
Yep.
Are you?
He can't hear you, though, I don't think.
That is bizarre. I have a good microphone here.
So I want to keep playing this real quick, and
go ahead, man. We're bragging too much.
Oh my, that would be one of my greatest days if I was wrong. But no, I'm sorry. We don't have this technology as far as our ability to create it.
But element 115 is still cool, right?
Why doesn't the government contact top scientists to study the UFO data, radar, etc.? In your opinion, what if scientists offered their help? Would that help disclosure?
Right. So why don't they contact the most ego-driven scientists that think they should be contacted about it? Or why don't they contact scientists? They do. This is what you saw with Bob Lazar. They do. This is what you see with Dr. Eric Davis. This is what you see with Dr. Colin Kelleher. They do these exploitation programs. It's just that they're so compartmentalized. There has to be, people have to have clearances, and they have to be brought in, and then they're trying to solve problems, and they can't talk about it. So the real problem is not that scientists aren't contacted. It's the limitations of their ability to have peer-reviewed information, to share data, to have greater and other minds on it. That is the problem. Look, our government has been trying to reverse engineer non-terrestrial spacecraft. That is a fact. We have craft. You don't have to believe me.
Yeah, I know. This is painful, and we're probably losing some people in the process. But it's interesting just to hear what he has to say and his perspectives that he's getting. This got 30,000 views, and it was premiered 9 hours ago. So this guy's got an incredible reach for his ability to reach large audiences with disinformation, and that's people you should be worried about more than anything. It's people who have.
He's saying that we haven't. All we have is rockets. Is that what I'm getting from this?
He's saying that they spent all this money, reverse engineering this stuff, but he only mentioned 2 scientists that I heard was Davis and Schaefer.
Yeah, so Eric Davis claims Lazar is a fraud.
And Eric Davis has said Lazar is a fraud. So he said Lazar made up his entire cockamamie story. So let's find that. Yeah, here it is. Joe Murgia right here. So Eric Davis, Lazar made up his entire cockamamie story. This was published in November of 2018. So Eric Davis even says that Lazar's, not
and there's
a real
a story
physicist.
behind that. There's definitely a story behind that, and it's not the story that Bigelow tells that Bob was using his warehouse as a furniture storage area. They tested him. They tested Bob on his science skills, and they weren't there. That's the truth. Davis and I think it was him and Putoff who did it.
Yeah, so Michael, I don't know. People are complaining they can't hear Michael. Michael can't hear you, so he can't get cued into the questions. This is like, interesting stuff. So yeah,
ask him to talk and see what happens. I'm muting my mic.
He's not there. He just dropped out. I don't know if he's gonna come back, man. I'm gonna get a good microphone and I'm gonna get a good camera and send it to him so that we can because we got to get Michael involved.
He's using his phone, and that's what's wrong. I think it's because he's using his phone.
Oh, he's using his phone. That's right.
Yeah,
isn't he on the road or something? He might be even driving on the road.
Now, I'm not gonna say where he's living, but he just moved again, and it's kind of tough. He moved back to where he originally was. But he couldn't hear me.
What? Dude, no way. Look who just joined.
Who?
You won't believe, bro.
Who did?
I think Gene Huff. I sent it to him. I sent him the link.
Where is Gene at? Under what name? Text me in
private. He doesn't have any devices connected. Gene, if you're there and you can hear me, man, you need to connect like a microphone or something to your computer if you want to jump on here. And so yeah, if anyone we might open this up too so other people can chip in. So disclosure, this report's coming out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about like the physics here on this channel. We're really diving in deep on the physics of gravity, and how to build warp drives or how to build, quantum gravity testing devices so that we can test effects of quantum gravity and also see if we can break gravity.
It is Gene Huff, dude.
I've been talking to Ian. I think they want to get me back on Timcast. I mean, this report's going to drop and it's going to be some busy stuff, but I might be going on some even bigger podcasts than Tim, with some of the people that I've been talking to lately. So one of the people I've been talking to, I might go down with and do a discussion on is have you guys ever heard of Redacted Tonight? You ever heard of Redacted Tonight, Dan?
Welcome to
yes, I know that.
So this is a comedy show about like redactedness and stuff. So I'll.
What's up, everybody? Hello. A very rich, very famous man who rubbed a lot of people the wrong way has suicided himself in a Spanish prison. He's Epsteined himself in a Spanish prison. Thank you guys for joining me. Please take a second to hit the thumbs up and hit the.
So Lee Camp, right? This is Lee Camp of Redacted Tonight, and he interviewed a couple months ago. He interviewed
Jeremy. Mute for a second. Whoever's down there is trying to talk. I think it is Gene Huff.
No, he's not there. He left out, and it's Michael. Michael's back now.
Okay, Michael, can you hear us talk once, man?
Michael, can you hear? Yeah, McAfee suicided. He did a video on the John McAfee. As if you didn't know, he was a antivirus pioneer, software hacker extraordinaire, and
he was also involved in a murder down South America, and they wanted his ass dead for a while now. So that's what happened.
You think it was related to that murder in South America?
Absolutely, man. There was people wanted him. They wanted him killed. They wanted him. You have to watch a whole story about that guy. It goes back.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy. The only other hacker that I think compares to him that I've read a book on was you ever read Ghost in the Wires?
No, but this guy, man, he had like 25 girlfriends that were in their 20s. He lived the life, man. He was
Yeah, if you're gonna read a book on hacking, Ghost in the Wires is my top recommended read on hacking and stuff. But yeah, like people were complaining about this guy saying, talking all kinds of crap. Oh, he's a scumbag, and I'm glad he's dead. And that kind of upset me because it's like, dude, what do you expect? Like a church choir boy to become like head of the hacking, and in order to become like a master of hacking and a master of viruses and antivirus and all that stuff, you have to be like a certain type of person, bro. You can't like. I'm sorry, like
he's a pimp. So is Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is a pimp too, man. So
yeah, all the pimp story. Yeah, Bob Lazar and the pimp story is one of my favorite.
I love it. I've got the police report that's 5 pages long that no one else has. I think I gave it to you. Do not pass that out, by the way.
Yeah, John's an OG, man. He knew a lot of stuff. And it's a damn shame what happened to him, man. And just letting people know that I will never ever kill myself. And
John McAfee had to be around 80 years old, I bet you. He was up there in age. He was not young.
He was 75. He says,
okay,
yeah.
75. He looked pretty good for 75, though. Let's face it.
Yeah, man, that's a sad story and an interesting story. So it goes on a lot of different sides, but it's definitely something worth checking out. The whole reading up on the whole thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's a little off topic, but I want to bring it up and point it out because Redacted tonight, Lee Camp, he did a couple things. He did an interview with who was the guy a couple months ago. I posted this on Twitter earlier, but basically the guy who's tracking down he was an economics professor and he tracked down the 21 missing trillion dollars from the Pentagon. Mm-hmm. So, man, $21 trillion. So I went and did this cost of the Manhattan Project. I went and just Googled cost of the Manhattan Project, and the cost of the Manhattan Project, which employed about 130,000 people, and it cost nearly $2 billion. Okay, which was equivalent to, it said, US $23 billion in 2007 dollars. So about $23 billion. So 21 trillion versus $23 billion. It's almost 1,000 Manhattan projects. Okay, the amount of money that they could fund with what's missing from the Pentagon budget right now.
It's almost as much money as the Rothschilds have.
It's an insane, obscene amount of money, and I'm just pointing out that if I had that much money, the kind of program that I could build, what I could create, and what I could build with that much money. Like, we'd have a fleet of flying saucers. We'd have a whole bunch of these fucking things, I'm sure, with what you could build for that much money. So this is my whole thing, is I've been talking about this for about 4 years now. There's a secret Manhattan Project going on right now, and it's on the level of new physics. The same idea that we knew new physics existed in 1945, and knew that we could hire a bunch of scientists to reverse engineer and figure out. Not reverse engineer, but figure out how to build a bomb from what we knew about E equals mc squared and the energy contained in the nucleus. And this is, some people even say it's way more than 20-some trillion.
But with the internet and the dark web, how would something like that not get leaked out? Times have changed. How would something like that not get leaked out nowadays? It's so easy to leak information nowadays. Or you just surround it with a bunch of disinformation? I mean, I'm just asking you, how would you keep something like that secret?
It's clear as day. With that sum of money that's missing, right, it should be clear as day to everyone that there is a Manhattan-level project going on currently that is unaccounted. It's off the budget. It's off the books. It's unaccounted for. 21 trillion is an insane amount of money. That's 1,000 Manhattan projects. So whatever's going on right now in secret that we can't trace down the money for where it's being spent, it's 1,000 times bigger than the most top secret, physics program in all of science and military history. Okay, mm-hmm. Just to put things into perspective with people who don't, understand this. So we're entering an age of full transparency. I don't think we are. I think that a lot of that money's paid for, secrecy and official lies and disinformation to throw people off. I mean, look at how many people that Bob Lazar story, his documentary came out in 2018, and there's still got people chasing their tails with that.
Well, the thing is, whoever controls space controls the world. So space is where it's at. So what would be in space? Anti-gravity vehicles, the people that can make it there the fastest. That's got to be what this is about. Now, how many people out there in the crowd believe that Tic Tacs are real physical objects, or do they believe that they're fake radar apparitions? I personally don't buy the fake radar apparitions thing that Jeremy buys.
Yeah, and then there's people saying, "Oh, you got to account for the inflation. It's not 1,000." Dude, I did account for inflation, and it is 1,000 times. If you didn't count for inflation, it would be like 10,000 times. Okay.
I mean, where's this being worked on? I mean, where is that being worked on? Is it all in Area 51? You know, I don't know. I don't think
be some way others
more. I really don't. I don't think anything goes on out there anymore. It's just too many spectators. I really don't. I believe
so anyways,
on there.
Lee Camp's going to have me on to talk about my theory on where that money went and what it could have paid for, and so I'm getting some arguments and some stuff ready for that. That should be a good time, and some good jokes too, because he's a comedy channel. So,
let me show you a good picture S4 that no one else has ever seen, and somebody down here said it's being worked on at S4. If anything's being worked on out there, it's not $21 trillion worth of stuff, maybe about $100,000 worth.
NM, thank you for the $20 super chat, buddy. That really helps out, man. This is awesome. Lee is super cool, man. I've been following him on RT since like Abby Martin and way back in the day. So
see if we can get Michael's opinion. Michael, is your microphone working yet, buddy? I think it's your phone, brother.
I'm here.
Yeah, man. Maybe they built a bunch. They could build a whole bunch of Epstein Islands with 21 trillion, huh? I wonder
Michael, what do you think the new Manhattan Project is, if there is one? What do you think it is? I have my opinion because it has to do with who controls space, which is a war between us and China right now. What do you think the new Manhattan Project would be, sir?
Well, kind of what you mentioned, maybe controlling the high ground, right? Controlling the high ground.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree, Sydney, with the $5 super chat, man. More contractors need to come forward about the crazy stuff they've seen in the sandbox and in the rock pile. It's definitely not from this earth. I don't know.
Contractors we know, and they don't say anything about stuff like this.
Well, here's the big thing that's going on right now with Susan Go and the Pentagon. You know, this stonewalling. It's this whole idea that we know that there's recovered craft, right? And we know there's debris, and
that's what they say.
This is the whole debate that's going on right now, and I doubt that
they would get Phil Schneider. Phil Schneider, just in my opinion, I've done a ton of research on Phil Schneider. He's a total fraud. He was a self-mutilator. I've talked to his ex-wife. His ex-wife totally debunked him. Phil Schneider was never a geologist. Phil Schneider was a sandwich maker when he did work. His whole story's crap. That doesn't mean that there wasn't something weird that happened in Dulce in '79 that he got word of, but he wasn't involved. You can hate me for saying that, but I've done a shitload of research on that guy. Tons. So is Norio Hayakawa. I think Norio Hayakawa has the best research on Phil Schneider. He's talked to his brother, his wife, everybody. His ex-roommates.
Yeah, I don't believe that thing about the Van Allen belts and all that stuff, and that was in William Cooper's book. Just because you can block those types of radiation with the right shielding, just like
an inch of water would block it. Is what?
Yeah, water is a really great blocker and neutron absorber, and there's this whole, the Earth does this. It blocks all this radiation for us, so. If the Earth can do it, we can build blocking and shielding. I never bought into that Van Allen.
Yeah, John, people actually did believe Phil Schneider, believe it or not. They just haven't done the research. If you do the research on Phil Schneider, you'll find that he was a nut.
The missing finger that he said the aliens blasted off, dude.
He chopped them off himself. It happened at an apartment in Missouri. Check this out. Phil Schneider, if you look up uranium and Phil Schneider, he used to eat uranium. He used to eat it. And when the FBI came to his house, he had like 50 or 70 pounds of uranium. It's not illegal to go out into the desert and chop uranium out of the ground. And Bob Lazar does it and sells it to people.
There was, remember that there was
had an incredible amount, but what they found incredible was he was eating it. He was grinding it up and eating it. I'm not joking either. This comes from his family, and this comes from an actual FBI report. Is that someone you think is sane? I don't. I would never freaking eat uranium.
Yeah, this dude, the David Ham, the radioactive nuclear Boy Scout, and there was this guy who was at one of these tours in this area, and he just happened to have a Geiger counter with him, and he found a bucket of, they thought was sand, but it was actually uranium ore, and they wouldn't have.
Another guy gave you $20, AJS.
Oh yeah, hey AJ's. Even if I don't catch every live stream, it doesn't mean I don't watch every upload. This money is for disclosure, man. Thank you. We appreciate it, man. We're trying our best over here to really dig in and get disclosure out, man. So
someone just said something very interesting. They said that they think that Tic Tacs are like hypersonic dirigibles. You know, that's
this guy.
I had a dream that that's what they were.
How about Lazar's story that he was in a top secret facility? And he just happened to walk by a window where you could see in the window, and there was an alien in there.
Yeah, he changed that completely.
Yeah, because this guy pointed out there's no way Lazar would have seen anything through a window in a top secret establishment.
Those windows are very hard to see through with the wire through them. They're 9 inches by 8 inches. The windows, you can't see through them good enough to have seen an alien and people examine them. You would have looked through it for 1 second, maybe 2 seconds at the most. He had armed security behind him, supposedly pushing him out the damn door.
Those new photos we got at Area 51 in Papoose Lake, though, those were key, man.
Don't show the flight. Show the pictures. The pictures are much better. I got pictures from the north going into the south, which no one.
Yeah, that's the flight the guy took, and we got some really incredible photographs.
The guy who took that flight emailed me the pictures from York Arnew's house at midnight on Christmas, and I was sitting here and couldn't believe it. He goes, "You're the first person to see these besides us," and I was shocked. Remember, I got a hold of you. I'm like, look,
yeah,
I got my hands on, dude. You're not going to believe this. That Gabe Zeifman, he's very cool. He's a pilot. Michael, you and me are flying over that same damn route one of these days. We're going to rent a plane, all right?
Oh, this is interesting. So, yeah, one of the theories we had for the TR-3Bs or these craft is that they could be a type of hypersonic dirigible.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know, it might not even be like a craft at all. It might be a dirigible, like a lighter than aircraft with these types of things. But then in that case, it doesn't have a rotating mercury plasma engine. It has something else.
How's it go 50,000 miles an hour? It has to have some kind of force shield around it then.
Because he says that there's some interesting papers about corrugated hafnium tantalum carbonitrides. I'm gonna have to check that out because I've heard of this the tantalum sponges and some of these other ideas. So this is interesting stuff.
Slim is chilling. Asks, why do I think Bob Lazar's lying? Do you have like 2 hours sometime in private? I can prove to you he's lying.
Yeah, Dan has really researched the case inside and out, man. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything that can come out of digging into the Bob Lazar stuff. Just know that the physics. If you want to know about the physics, there's real physics. Look up a guy named Bernard Haish if you want to know a real Caltech senior staff physicist who worked on classified programs for Lockheed Martin. So there's lots of other physicists that we know about and can dig into that will.
I can show you a picture of Papoose Lake that was taken from Gabe Zeifman flying over it. He flew literally right over Papoose Lake, okay? He flew over it. No one realizes that only half of Papoose Lake was totally off limits. Well, if they were flying saucers out of there, that wouldn't be the case. And that goes way before Bob Lazar story ever came out. They would never allow people to fly over. All he had to do was ask if it was a day that he could fly in there. And they said, yeah, guess what? It was Christmas the one day. And the next day, and then the day before that, it was Thanksgiving. There was no one there. And they allowed him to fly right over. Yeah. They allowed him to fly over Tonopah Test Range. I've got all the pictures, man, that no one else has. And they're beautiful. Believe me. You can see just how far off Bob is. Bob claims that the the base of the mountain, and it's not a mountain, it's a very small hill where S4 was, met the dry lake bed. It's off by over 1,271 feet, and that was at the closest point to the dry lake bed. There's nothing but brush there and stuff. How'd they get the UFOs out? How'd they do this? How'd they do that? It's all crap, man. And it's the same pictures that go back to 58 that I have from satellites. That nothing's changed.
All the details. We dug into the story. So like when he said that when he pulled up to Papoose Lake and drove out there, he was on a bus with the blacked out windows and everything. But he could still see, like when he pulled up, there was a guard shack, a fence, and a parking lot. And there's nothing like that, and never has been anywhere near Area 51.
There was only one building at Papoose Lake, and it was almost dead in the center, and it was a very small radar jamming building. And T.D. Barnes can talk about that. And there's an interview with Fred Dunham, who was a security guard that got cancer and all these lung problems. He was part of the lawsuit with the Frost back in '95 that was dismissed by Clinton's executive order. He was at Papoose Lake. He used to go there every night. He used to go there and light off fireworks. And I think that might be where some of the UFOs came from. And that light off fireworks. And there was nothing there ever. And he was there. He used to go there all the time from 1977 to 1993. So he would have been there before and after Bob.
Yeah, well, let's connect some more dots that are on. So on Jeremy's board of conspiracy Wooland, there's some pictures of Bob. One is the one of Bob on his rocket bike, and we can connect some dots there. When Bob first moved out of, he graduated high school in New York, Long Island, New York, and then his family moved to Woodland Hills, California.
He graduated in August, so he actually didn't even graduate with his class because he had failed a number of classes. He had to take summer school. So he's not this fucking MIT genius. They never would have took him to MIT if he's failing classes. Go on, Jeremy.
The Sydney, thanks for the another $5 super chat. Many contractors did sign NDAs, but there are a few that are old enough to be past them. I have heard many strange accounts from the British old timers. Yeah, man, we've had some of the best guys from BAE, British Aerospace, come on the APEC conferences and share information, man. Those guys are super knowledgeable, and they can talk about what they did.
UFO database says Papoose is supposedly 6,294 feet, so not really. No, you're talking about the mountain. I'm talking about the actual hill that Bob Lazar said that the 9 hangars were in. The 9 hangars were in barely fit. If you wrap them the entire way around this hill, it's a hill, not a mountain. I can show it to you.
Let me bring it up. Hold up.
I think it's about 1,000, maybe about 900 feet, 600 feet at the most.
This was Bob's drawings.
That was after he got the satellite image from John Schratt.
So he changed it. He changed his story after they got the satellite image from John Schratt. This was the
change picture. This is the little hill. That's not a mountain. A mountain's made of rock material, not sand. That was before that was the drawing before John Schratt got his paper or got the satellite image from the Russians. Jeremy, show him the pictures from Gabe Zeifman's flight. It destroys it. Do you want me to send
Yeah, those mountains don't exist. So those tall hills that he drew in the picture.
You want me to share my screen, buddy?
They don't exist. Let me get the picture up.
Because I will hammer this in 2 seconds.
Here it is. So there's the photo of Papoose Lake, and you can see how far it is from the mountainside. It's just a little molehill. There's none of these cliffs-like structures that he drew.
6,900 feet. That's not even 1,000.
How could you mistake if you were actually at that place and on location and seeing this thing? How could you be that far off unless you're making it up?
Because he made it up. And he's over 1,200 feet away from the dry lake bed. I know it doesn't look like that far.
Yeah. No, you measure it on Google Earth. It's literally like a long walk from here to there. And,
I've got pictures of other angles. If people want to see them right now, I could share my screen, and I'd be glad to do so because I want to put.
One of the biggest things to me, though, is the scientific data, because he came out with that picture of that ridiculous reactor that he claimed was this element 115 reactor, right?
And he copied it from the freaking
Yeah, you know what we found out? We were looking up that there was a movie that came out on the Manhattan Project, like the year before Lazar's story.
Louis Sloat.
There was this thing called the Demon Core, and they had the whole scene in it that killed the scientists. Right, so we did research. Bob said that these scientists working on the reactor got killed, and there is no case or evidence of any scientists getting killed in an alien reactor. But there is this Demon Core legend that came from the Manhattan Project. It was in that Fat Boy and Little Man and Fat Boy and Little Man movie
that Bob Lazar put in his thing. He copied exactly. When I showed it to Gene Huff, he was just speechless.
Yeah, so they redesigned the test setup like this, and it looks identical to like with the feed mechanism to like.
Oh, there's a much better picture than that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there, man. But it's clear like that the reactor doesn't function. There's no reason that freaking scientists would be stupid enough to cut into a working reactor like Bob claims in his story.
Yeah, with a plasma torch, and it killed people. And they offered it. Yeah, look at this right here is the Slotin. He had
this is from the movie right here, the top and bottom. This is from the movie.
When that screwdriver went shut, the entire thing went critical because it mixed what, Jeremy? It mixed the plutonium with the what did it mix?
No, so there's a plutonium core, right?
Yeah.
And what this is a beryllium half shell. So this half friggin' dome piece is made out of beryllium metal. And what that is a neutron reflector. So what happens is this thing's producing a ton of nuclear reactions. It's decaying and producing tons of radiation. This is like the most radioactive thing that they called it the Demon Core for a reason. It's literally death. And what happens is they put this shell around it. It reflects all those neutrons into this area. And so like they can still escape when the screwdriver's in there. But what happened is in the experiment is that the screwdriver fell out and the half dome just touched. And as soon as it did, the thing went supercritical. And which means it like supercritical means that it starts a nuclear chain reaction where it starts, heating up and releasing tons and tons of radiation.
They were dead. They all knew they were dead.
The guy knew he was dead immediately, but he wanted to save the lives of his other fellow scientists. So acting quickly, he went and grabbed the thing and lifted it off and threw it off right away, right? So his hand got the brunt of the radiation. He had tons of radiation poisoning and damage to his skin. Again, Victor Wag, thanks for the $14 Canadian. Is alien scientists keep saying Lazar only needs to show the 115 instant credibility, instant disclosure. That's what this whole thing.
They keep saying they want disclosure. All they've got to do is go get the element 115, but they won't because they're scared. They know what's in there. It's not element 115. It's something else. It's probably lead. Something heavy. It's going to be something heavy. I'm going to say it's lead.
Who knows? I don't think it's really element 115. When we looked at the cost
on a form, I took the Demon Core mixed in with Bob Lazar's literal stupid model there, mixed them in 4 different pictures, and no one knew that I'd mixed the 4 pictures in, and that was on the Living Moon, and that was all Bob Lazar supported people. And then when I told him, I'm like, hey, guess what? I have pictures of it here. 2 of those pictures are not Bob Lazar's. They're from the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which guess what? I have pictures of Bob at. Yeah. Numbers of pictures of him next to. He was right there next to that Demon Core, and I actually had somebody from the lab actually the library send me pictures of the damn thing. And it's exact. He copied it. There's even the tune tube is even there. It's all there. We got to do it.
So one thing I want to point out too for people that don't know is that 1945, 46 or whatever, when that Slotin experiment took place with the actual experiment that killed the scientists, right? Mm-hmm. OSHA hadn't existed. OSHA was put into place in I think the late 70s, 77 or 78. I'm not sure. Yeah. But anyone ever since 77, they required federal mandated reporting of any death on site has to be reported to the feds, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, within 48 hours. So no matter what occupation, even if it's classified programs, if someone dies on the job, It has to be reported to OSHA within 48 hours, and it will be on OSHA's website. So you can go on OSHA's website right now, and I can look up. Here's the most recent one. So here's all the statistics and death reporting. It has every death of every worker on the job that died in 2020. Every death is documented and stored and logged on a website ever since 1978.
Of the nuclear test either. He claimed there was an unannounced nuclear test reported. We can't find it.
There's no evidence of that. So Bob Lazar claims that he was hired because these two other scientists died and they were so desperate to get other new people in that's when they brought him into this program, this top secret project. That's his own words and his own story. So technically that would have been around in the late 80s that those scientists would have died, according to his story, that he would have been hired to replace. So their deaths would be documented by law on OSHA, and there's nothing even resembling it anywhere. And there's no way you could cover that up completely, like he said, an unannounced nuclear test. There's no evidence of that.
Let me share my screen for a second. Can I share my screen for a second?
So the element 115 stuff's the funniest thing. And yeah, you want to share your? Can you share your screen while I'm doing mine?
I want to show a couple of things that are just devastating to this story. It'll take 5 minutes.
This is the most devastating one of all, man. Is the when I sourced the element 115 claim, and I went and found that it did not come from any classified program at all. It came from the May 1989 issue of Scientific American magazine, page 68. Let's go to page 68 right here.
Fine, yeah.
So creating super heavy elements, there's a whole article in here the same month and year that Bob Lazar's story came out with his element 115. The element 115 stuff didn't even come out until 5 months after this article. So it took him some time to put it all together. But they talk about half-lives. They talk about island of stability. They talk about certain isotopes of element 115 and 114 that might be stable. And this was all predicted and talked about, in this science article back in 1989. And there's nothing else that I can really find in the scientific literature anywhere. I've been able to find so much stuff through FOIA requests and digging into classified programs and the science stuff.
Here's the bottom line, people. Here's how stupid he wants. See, I think this is a game with Bob. He laughs at how stupid everybody is. You would have to believe a modern day particle accelerator, okay, is propelling aliens around from different parts of the universe to other parts of the universe. A particle accelerator, people.
Let's talk about something else besides Bob, dude. I agree.
Well,
man.
I just wanted to show some of the pictures I had of S4 that no one else has ever seen before. And I know people haven't seen before. I never see them on Reddit or anything. And I've exchanged them with people. They need to be shown.
I have lots of questions about the case. I'll just leave it at that. And, we would love to get Bob on for a talk.
A lot of people want to see the pictures and stuff. It's all good. I'll do my own video.
I don't know, man. If that was really Gene Huff that joined, man, because I sent him the link. It had to have been, bro. I didn't send anybody else the link.
He emailed me and said, "What's up? How do I get in here?" So,
yeah, he needs to we need to get him a microphone. I'm gonna get a webcam and send it to him, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he joins back, man. That'd be awesome. Question for you guys, because I haven't seen all the videos on the channel. Do you believe all sightings are U.S. crafted, each and every one? Hell no, dude. Every sighting needs to be evaluated on an individual basis, man. And we just point out a lot of stuff that we found because a lot of stuff can be explained. Not everything can, though. I do believe there are stuff flying around that maybe can't be explained.
Michael, do you want to say anything since Jeremy's kind of... You there, buddy?
Yeah, Mike. Do you have...
I'm here. Let me see if I can put something together. You guys go ahead and keep on going. Let me see if I can put something together here.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, another thing, too, Michael Schratt and I in 2014 did something called the Lazar Report. It can be found. I have the PDF. It's kind of strange that the websites it used to be on got all taken down.
You want to share your screen, Dan?
I mean, I did. I mean, listen, let me share it just for a second because I want to. Some of these people, a lot of people are asking about Lazar. It's very important that we take his ass down. I mean, it's that simple. Michael and I spent a ton of time on this. So have you and I. So hang on, let me share my screen.
That's the thing is I'm really, by talking about Bob, I'm not trying to waste anyone's time. I'm really trying to save people's time by showing them.
But the people have a lot of questions. I'm gonna share audio too. Share. You tell me when you can see my damn screen, man. Okay, hold on a minute here, dude. Window. I don't want to share. Why is it not? Okay, yes, that's what I want to share. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, here we go. Tell me when you can see this, because this is a lot of my Bob Lazar pictures. Can you see John Lear and one of my former best friends, Zorgon, right there? Can you see it? Jeremy?
Hello? Hey. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading through some of the comments here, and
I need to know if you can see my screen, brother.
Yep, there it is. You're up. You're on there.
Well, right here is a guy named Zorgon.
Yeah, people want us to stop talking about Lazar, man. Oh boy,
they do. Well, I just had a ton of people say they wanted us to talk about Lazar. Okay,
it's probably Jeremy Corbell in the chat.
I'm just going to show a couple of pictures here. I'm going to show a couple of pictures here real quick. Here's Bob Lazar's reactor. Okay, here's the tune tube. Here's where the protons vectored up in and goes into the piece of element 115.
Open that up so we can see it. Bring it
Beautiful, isn't it? Now, here's the top. Here's the half dome.
I can't see that large, man. I can only see it small. You got to bring. I don't know if you got two screens or something, but this guy's claiming that he did find evidence. Show me that picture. I want to see the blue school bus driving between Groom Lake and S4, man. And honestly, there's a mountain through there, and if they got underground facilities, I don't know why they'd drive them on a bus. They'd bring them in a tunnel through the mountain.
No, they would have took a Jeep down there. Here is a picture of the real S4. This is what Bob claims is S4. If you travel from the portion of the bottom of the S4, which would have been where the 9 hangars come out at, they would have come out right down about here. And I gave him some space. I was conservative. The distance between the edge of here and the dry lake bed itself, okay, I have right here. Hang on a minute.
How about this, dude? This guy's like, how dumb is Stephen Greer? Because didn't Stephen Greer once claim he got offered $2 billion to basically?
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. To shut up. They would have killed him.
Shut up. Yeah, who's the idiot that turned down $2 billion and didn't get the word out on disclosure, man?
I'd like to know the Army intelligence officer just had $2 billion laying around to give.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. If they came to me and offered me $2 billion tomorrow, I'd be out. I'm sorry.
Here's how far they would have had to push the UFO through shrubbery. 1,271 feet, guys. Here's the end of that. The end of the and you can see this would be the end of the bottom of the hill. It's not a mountain. Bottom of the hill. It's not 6,000 feet tall either. It's not even close. Conservatively, it would have been about 1,271 feet. Now you can go to here.
You gotta show us the pictures, man. I can't see them blown up. They're just tiny little thumbnails on your screen, dude.
I don't understand that. They're full size on mine, dude.
What?
Hang on a minute. Let me click on something. Go to your and go to what you're seeing on YouTube. Hang on.
Yeah, I can't see that. So you got to show the other screen. I think they're on your other screen. You got to drag them over to your other screen. That's what I think's going on too.
I don't have two screens though, bud. I don't.
Weird.
Oh, hang on a minute. Let me try one more time. I think I see what's going on here. Share screen.
Man, this report's coming out tomorrow. I posted on Twitter earlier today that I just have no faith in a bunch of career politicians having 2 months to investigate this, being able to
what about that
possibly put together a comprehensive report on something that's literally going to take humanity the next 100,000 years to explore, right?
Can you actually see that?
Think about this.
Can you see that, Jeremy?
Let me bring it. Oh, yeah, we got it now, dude. There's S4, baby.
All right. That is S4 from the north. This is a plane flight. This is not Google Earth. And right down here would be the very bottom edge of where these hangars would be. There'd be 9 at 40 feet wide. And by the way, Bob claimed the craft was 52 feet wide. How would it fit in a 40 feet wide garage? Now, from that distance to here, Bob claimed that the bottom of this met the dry lake bed. No, it didn't. Hang on a minute here. It met, here's the actual distance. And this is can you see that? This is devastating. There's 1,271.
Oh, what happened to your screen was shared. Now it just stopped. So you got to share it again. Something happened. It just stopped sharing. It was up, but then it just disappeared.
I don't get what's going on, man. Maybe it's just, oh, I see. Each time you got to share. Why is that? I've never had this problem before, ever, dude. I'm just going to share my entire screen. How's that sound, dude?
Share the desktop. Yeah.
So I'm just going to share the damn desktop. I don't care if people see stuff on here. It's not, okay. Yeah, fuck you. All right. Okay, I just want to try and educate people, that's all. Because this stuff drives me insane. Okay, can you see all these thumb clips or these thumbnails? And if I click on something, can you, let's say, can you see
Jeremy doesn't want to move on? No, come on, dude. There's a reason Jeremy doesn't want to talk about Bob Lazar anymore, bro. And there's a reason that Elizondo dodged the question super skillfully in that last interview that he gave with Kurt too.
Called him up and gave him hell about saying Bob is a fake. Okay, can you see Bob Lazar with Little Man there?
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
Can you see Bob Lazar there with Little Man or not?
That's Fat Boy.
Or Fat Boy, whichever one it is. It's one of them. I know that.
Yep, now, Bob Lazar. That's at the Los Alamos National History Museum in Los Alamos, and it's open to the public. And it's a whole history of the Manhattan Project.
This right here is not Bob's reactor. This is the Demon Core. This is the tickling the dragon's tail. This is a Louis Slotin. This is an exact replica. This is the tuned tube and everything Bob Lazar used. It's everything. And what I did was this. I went on a form and I mixed together Bob Lazar's half hemisphere, and then down here's the Demon Core. Then here's Bob Lazar's tuned tube. Here's the Demon Core's tuned tube. Look how exact they are. He copied that from the Los Alamos laboratory. Yes, I used to be Big Pappy 51. Yes, you can look that up. There's a ton of stuff on the internet with that name. Now, hang on a minute. What I want to show people, most importantly, is these Papoose Lake pictures, and then I'm done. Okay. Here's another rendering Bob Lazar had done.
What's going to happen tomorrow is that there's going to be no mention of Bob Lazar, any of the stuff in this report, and Corbell is going to be backpedaling.
It's going to kill him. Look, here's a picture of, no one's ever seen this. This is S4 from the north. In other words, when Gabe Zeifman came across the Tonopah test range, he was heading due west. And he stuck his camera back in there and he took pictures. No one's ever gotten pictures. This would have been the bus trip that Bob Lazar took down to this little hill right here. He would have went somewhere along here. Well, where's the trail at? Because a bus leaves a hell of an indentation over 20 years or whenever. There's nothing there. And from this distance here, this is the tiny hill that someone just said is over 6,000 feet tall. Sorry, it's not even 1,000 feet tall. I think it's 600 feet tall. From here to here, Bob Lazar claimed the dry lake bed came right to the edge of here. And he claimed there was cement here and all kinds of shit. Well, I'm going to show you just how far it was. Look at this. Here's the distance. Here's that same hill.
Dan, are you a shill? Were you sent by, did the feds pay you to debunk Bob?
No, but I consider myself the absolute best Bob Lazar debunker in the world, and I don't care who it is.
Dan doesn't just debunk Bob Lazar, though. Dan also debunked.
I've recently debunked the Patterson Bigfoot video.
Yeah, bring that up. Let's just bring that up, and then we're gonna. Do
you want me to show that?
Just show that, and then we're gonna stop. I want to talk more about disclosure because, obviously Bob isn't disclosure. Everyone who watches this channel.
I'm into debunking a lot of things. Okay. Hang on a minute here.
There we go.
Hold on a minute here.
I don't want to talk like Bob's old news, man.
They're going to be in shock because I found the strap that goes from his hip waders to his belt, and it's got all kinds of people pissed off. But
you don't want to mess with those believers, man.
There's going to be a black strap from here to here, and it's 1960s hip waders that go from here to where his belt would be. You'll see it flapping around here. Hold on. You'll see it flapping around. It takes a minute. There it is. Hold on. It flaps around right here. Look. You can't miss it. See the belt flapping around? I found it, and I've got that debunked. And believe me, there are people that have worshipped this video that are messaging me, want my phone number, and there's a TV show that wants me to come on. This is all fake. This line right here is a hip waiter. The 1960s style hip waiter comes up about 16 inches, and it normally would connect to your belt.
What did they put? Gorilla hair or hair all over the hip waders?
They put hair all over the hip waders. I've got the most 4K high definition video of this thing. I paid for it to have it done, and you can clearly see. You'll see the strap. You see the strap shaking down?
Oh yeah, look at it when he moves it like buckles, man. Right on the leg there.
Back and forth. Well, what is that? Is Bigfoot wearing a suspender? I hated doing
muscles rippling under his thick hide skin.
It's not,
man.
Actually, because if you watch this video,
dude, everyone knows that video is steak, and then like I don't see the strap,
don't.
Man.
There's millions of people worship this. Look how shiny the legs are. They are hip waders, dude. Watch. It's not muscles. You'll see it's how this is going on. The butt is just fake padding. Look at that. Look how shiny it is. It's black rubber. And you can see the hip waiter right there, man. You can see
Dan,
you can see it.
Dan, are you Bigfoot? Did the government hire you to
debunk a lot of stuff? I spent years on this video, and I finally have gotten it. I knew it was a lie.
Why are you trying to rewrite history, man?
Because I have to. Because if anything's
because it's all fake. Because it's all fake, buddy.
That's
all
right.
Once you learn about fake news, then fake history and everything else, man, it just.
Anyways, real quickly, there's other ways to debunk Bob, but I want to show just a couple more things. This is another.
Oh, come on! We're gonna move on to
here's another flyover of S4. Floods with water. I mean, can you imagine being in this place and it just fills up with water and there's these UFOs in there that are priceless? I mean, look at this.
We got a lot of people saying that they believe Bob and they want to come on and argue. I'm gonna post the StreamYard chat right live, man. There you go.
Oh,
come on, bring it on. Let's get some arguments and people on here though. Join up, man.
Good. I'll devastate them. Bring them on.
Let's get this interesting, man.
Let's put some money up with this.
Let's put some money on the line.
Let's put some money on the line. Let's put up $500.
Nothing's ever come out of that Bob Lazar nonsense, and I researched like all the history of reverse engineering programs to try to find the real stuff for years, man. Let's get into some of that rather than waste our time like telling people what not to investigate, because that people have to do their own research and they're going to waste their time on it regardless of how much time we spend on it. So let's.
Jeremy, the problem is it doesn't matter where you go. Bob Lazar is brought up. It doesn't
everywhere. Everyone knows about it, bro. It's obviously not.
They don't know it's
not
fake.
A big secret.
They don't know it's fake. They don't know it's ridiculous. They don't know it's.
Oh, why talk about Bigfoot? Come on, we're just because Dan's a debunker.
It shows you that I'm into all kinds of shit, man.
We're just showing
paranormal. I don't mess around with ghosts, though. I don't mess around with that.
I don't so Tim Pool wants to start a paranormal show and he wants to hunt ghosts, and he asked me to give him some help with that. So I said, listen, I can build you a radiation detector that can use the Helmholtz equation to scan the room and make a map of it using frequencies and stuff. So we're gonna build him some ghost detectors for Tim Pool.
For ghosts is right up the street for me. I live right down.
I told him I don't want to be involved in any kind of paranormal show that has to do with ghosts or any of that kind of stuff, man. I want to be pure science, and I'll help you build equipment and build experiments and stuff. Other people are talking crap, like saying that Bob Lazar builds jet bikes and rocket cars and all this.
So
cool
do
stuff.
rednecks. Rednecks have been building jet tractors since I was a little kid going to the farm show arena. They've been building tractors out of jets to freaking get them to pull. They do the tractor pulls for a long time. Does that make them qualified to freaking? And that's a far more complicated thing than Bob's shitty jet car. A jet uses less moving parts than any type of propulsion there is. That's why it's safe. It's not like a V8 internal combustion engine where you've got tons of problems that can happen at once and an engine can blow up. A jet is a very safe form of propulsion. Yes, Bob did learn about jets young on from that guy that he moved in next door to when they moved to Pasadena, California. Was it Pasadena, California, Jeremy? He learned about jets. He also learned a lot about fireworks. That's where his physics comes in, or his chemistry.
Right. Well, that guy Gluharoff, who was his neighbor in Woodland Hills, California, taught him all that shit. So that's
Bob
the real
Lazar's
story.
fucking extremely smart.
So-
He's not stupid because he's fooled the world, for God's sakes, and he laughs about it all the way to the bank. The guy thinks that us people that believe it is funny. He respects people like me. I know that for a fact. He knows who I am. He really well knows who the hell I am. We've had email conversations back and forth many times.
So people all talking crap about how we're not building our own stuff, man. We got a whole conference full of, the real Bob Lazars, real physicists who worked on programs for the government, for British Aerospace, for the U.S. government, for other aerospace companies and stuff. And we talk to these people. We actively engage them in an open community setting, and we're really pushing disclosure to the maximum limits as far as science can go. I say, like, disclosure is not going to happen. I'm not going to sit around waiting for the government to tell me the truth about anything. I think they're all liars. And so the best way to do this and approach this topic is with science and with experiments and with a skeptical mind and one that wants to know and wants to learn. And that's what we're doing here. I think we're doing more for disclosure than any of these people currently. Like, I don't understand. It's going to change. I'm telling you, this is all going to change after this report comes out in the next couple of months. It's going to loosen everything up, and I have interviews lined up on a couple big channels, and this stuff's going to start working its way out. Disclosure is here.
I just wanted to say something. I absolutely happen to believe David Fravor 100%. I don't think he's lying. A lot of people trash Fravor. I don't.
And then the whole thing with
I believe he's all what he saw. Whatever he saw, I don't know. I don't think it's what Victor says. Another plane down in there. I mean,
I've asked all those guys. So I've been on Twitter really actively engaging those guys and asking them questions about, the capabilities of these plasma ball technologies and these spoofing technologies. They don't seem to think that's what they are, but then, they point out that there might be conflicts of interest because these guys actually work for those companies. And then there was some, that whole thing with Ryan Graves. I went and talked to him on Twitter. He says the guy in the video is not him now.
I know that's bull crap, and he knows it. It's a conflict of interest at his job, and he's scared to be fired. I get it. I totally get where he's coming from. He's being paid big bucks right now. He doesn't want to lose that job. He'll never get another job like that again.
Oh, I know.
I think we should just leave Ryan Graves alone because
I'm going to, and
you don't want to ever mess someone's career up, and that's just
I don't want to mess the guy's career up. I don't want to bring that up, but look, there's just stuff
Shane
going
Metzger
on.
says it's not Ryan. You guys are fools. Well, can you prove that? Because if it's not him, I'd like to know. I mean, I'm going by what Steve Cambion and Jeremy told me. They swore it was him.
No, that was not Steve
Victor,
Cambion and Jeremy. That was Steve Cambion and Victor. I was going off of them. So let's just be clear. So, the echo people are complaining about. I'll put the headphones on and I will. Okay, so Jeremy, I think it's important and fantastic that you stand up for real science and against scammers and useful idiots like Lazar and Corbell. Thank you for that $5 super chat, Raffle Shark. We're just about the truth, man. I've researched the crap out of that case, and if there was anything to it, man, I'd be the first one to tell you, and help promote it. But it's, I don't know. Real science is happening. I think we got the right idea. I'm going to be going down to the lab here in the next couple of days, and I'm planning a trip down there soon. And this is going to be, we're going to meet science with real science and put together experiments that can test all these hypotheses and build this. Because I'm not sitting around holding my breath waiting for this report to come out tomorrow. I'm already telling people it's going to be a nothing burger. It's going to be a distraction from what's really going on. If anything, I think our senators are being misled too. I don't think they're given real access to the real information. I think they're even close to being brought up to speed on this stuff. It's taken me 17 years of research to know what little I know. And anyone that claims to be an expert or says that they have this whole subject all figured out, run for the hills, because they don't.
Sorry, I ruined Bigfoot there, John, or whatever your name is.
No, we brought up the Bigfoot thing to show that, Dan's
how many years I
spent
on that video? Years.
There's rabbit holes all over the place to waste your time, man, and keep you away from the real stuff. And that's what we're about here is to showing people like a lot of stuff is a rabbit hole. A lot of stuff is a distraction, especially if it's out there in the mainstream media or dangling everywhere, easily accessible. The real stuff.
The FBI raids on Bob's home had nothing to do with Element 115. It had to do with a murder of an element he sold to a guy 2 years prior that used to kill his wife. I think it was called thorium, or what was it called? What was that element called, Jeremy?
Bro, not all of my research has been done looking on the internet. I've tons of stuff is on the internet because I went and did the research and put it there. So don't even come at me with that.
Dude, we traveled 1,000 miles, a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
I met Michael and did 3 or 4 days worth of research on paper. So I don't even
know who you're talking to before you come out your neck like that. For real.
No, I don't have an echo still, bud.
All right, well, I'm gonna wrap this up here. We're about an hour and 20 minutes. People don't seem to have a stomach for much more than that on the replays. So let's just wait till this report comes out tomorrow, man. Just know that all this stuff you're seeing is just a bunch of hype, man, and that the real stuff is much, much deeper, and it's not going to take you're not going to get it in a 10-minute download. And people that say they don't have an hour and a half to really dig in and research this, then you're not going to get much anywhere. I'm sorry. You're not going to get anywhere with this. And hopefully in the next couple months, when I put some stuff together, I'll have some time to do some documentaries where we can sum everything up in a really quick and concise format that's easy to digest for people. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the super chats. And
Dan blew it.
Yeah, Dan blew it. Thank you, Corbell. We got some trolls in the chat, Dan. You know what that means. We're doing
I have
a good job.
feeling that they came from a place that I normally hang out from. I can tell just by the names they're using.
Thank you for another $5 super chat, Sydney Cooley. And we will keep up the good work, man. Expect another show tomorrow. For this, when this report comes out, I'm gonna be digging right into that as soon as it drops.
Wait till it don't come out tomorrow.
Yeah, wait till it doesn't come out tomorrow. They say they need another 30 days. Oh no! Wait till the alien invasion comes out tomorrow. Wait till Biden rolls out and comes out and has the press conference and he rolls his reptilian skin. Oh, all right. Now we're getting crazy. All right, guys. Hey, join up the StreamYard for the after party, and we can hang out and talk for a bit in the background while I'm doing my own thing. So there's the StreamYard link for everyone. That everyone is welcome to donate. People, not just the people that donated and everything. We open this up.
People are bitching about me. Oh well, I don't really.
Yeah,
haters are a good thing.
Corbell brought all those haters into. So. Join up, man. Let's get some discussion behind the scenes. Join
Dan
for our private
Thanks,
talk.
Bobby Knight. So did you many times, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for join up and let's get some discussion, man, going behind the scenes. So smash that like button and please share this. And
sorry everyone for showing Bigfoot.
Let me know if you need some internet scientists. Yeah, that's me, guy. Hey, the internet is the freaking greatest invention science has ever produced.
Spent 6 weeks.
Let's be honest, right? If it weren't for the internet, you wouldn't be here right now. So, thank you all.
No, wait a minute. What happened to Schratt? He said he was putting something together, man. Michael,
do you have anything together? Do you want to unload on us before we end this live? Or do you have anything to?
Everybody's unloading, huh? Okay. Everybody's unloading. Okay.
man.
All right.
Do you want to wait?
See if this works. Let me see if this works. Share screen.
Thanks, Ian Burrow. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm passionate about what I talk about, and it sometimes I get over carried away because Jeremy don't let me fucking talk.
I don't think you can see this.
I'm bad at that sometimes. So
he's like my little brother, but he's like my damn dad sometimes.
Are you going to debunk fairies next, Dan? That's what someone has.
No, man, but that whole Patterson footage the truth needs shown about it. I can't help it. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. It's under my real name and it's under Solar Marshall.
I'll try and post
not
the
much
link
there except the Bigfoot video. For real.
Thanks, guys, man. Hey, disclosure's coming tomorrow. Let's brace for it and get ready for more government lies and
what if they open a hangar door up and pull out some kind of spaceship? And
then that's my dream. I'll go and oh my god, I don't even know what I do.
Take a poll out there. How many people think tomorrow is going to show nothing?
Yes.
How many of you think tomorrow is going to show nothing?
Anyways, we'll have to keep your expectations in check. Yes. And again.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling me on the phone today and saying it's going to show nothing. It's going to be a nothing burger.
Nothing burger. That's what everyone's saying.
I say it could be something because of something the one senator said. He said people are going to be shocked. That's what Marco Rubio said.
Yeah, our stuff's going to leak and other stuff. Man, I don't know. They're going to say Bob Lazar was a prank, and they're going to be an official debunk. Imagine if they'd come out with an official debunk on Bob Lazar.
Well, the fact if they don't mention him, that's damaging to him because if he's part of the UFO release, you don't mention him.
Right. Good point. All right, guys, I'm going to end the broadcast. Hey, Michael, let's put something together for tomorrow night and get something set up a little bit, where we have a little more time.
At least I got my NASA shirt on, motherfucker.
Nazi.
Yeah, I know. I get called that when I wear this thing around town. It's like, are you freaking kidding me?
It was all our
I can't help it. I'm
6'3"
with blonde hair and blue eyes.
This friggin' secret space
German as fuck.
It's all run by Nazis. All right, guys. I'm going to bring everyone in, and 20 years now, we'll hopefully won't still be debating Lazar and what's going on.
That's all this ever turns into is a Lazar thing, because half the crowd lies and acts like they don't like Lazar, but as soon as you start talking shit about him, they love him. I noticed it. I was watching.
I know. It's funny. Anyways, we got 400 people at our top point, and that was good. That was a good night, man.
God.
That's
God,
good.
I'll be getting
That's good for a shadow. That's really good for a shadow band.
So now what? On to the after show. Break out the booze.
Yes, let's break out the booze. Whatever, smoke them if you got them. And
Dan Lazar, I like that name. Yeah, I'm so sick of Lazar talk here. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too, man. If it weren't so popular still, and people would just embrace the truth, then maybe we wouldn't have to.
Strap on. I agree.
Lazar, definitely an inside job. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for tonight, and keep tracing down where that $21 trillion went.
Hey, good luck. Good luck, buddy.